Okay. Well, thank you for coming in today. How are you doing?
I'm okay, I guess.
Okay, so why don't you
I
start off telling me a little bit about what's bringing you in today?
I haven't really been sleeping well. I've been having nightmares and like lots of anxious feelings all day.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. When would you say that these things started for you?
Um, I've only been on and off the last couple of years. I think I start to think I'm not having any more dreams, and then I end up having one again. Um, my brother passed away about 11 years ago, and that's kind of when all of this really started. Uh, I thought that they'd be gone by now, but they just keep coming back.
I'm really sorry to hear about your brother passing away. Were you guys really close?
Um, uh, he was like 9 years older than me, so we didn't really spend a lot of time together. But I always remember him being there for me when our parents were arguing or just feeling really safe when he was around.
Oh, well, he sounds like he was a really good big brother. Do you mind telling me how he passed away?
It was a drug overdose, laced heroin. He was 27.
27 is pretty young. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, when it happened, I remember thinking he was kind of old. Was thinking he's almost 30. On my 27th birthday, I felt a lot of guilt. And now that I'm older than my brother, I don't feel old at all. And I can see how young he actually was when he passed, and I feel a sense of guilt about that.
Sometimes when we lose someone, we do feel a little bit of guilt about that. Can you tell me more about what that is like for you?
Um, I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. I just feel guilty that I'm living my life and he can't live his.
That does make sense, and that is completely normal when we lose someone that we love. Can you tell me a little bit about how you processed everything when he first passed away?
I don't think I ever really processed it. At first, I didn't really believe it had happened. And then I had to be strong and had to support my mother because she was devastated. And I remember the day it happened, her screams were terrible and she automatically started throwing up. It was really hard on her. And my dad was just mad and blamed himself.
Losing people we love can be really difficult, and it must have been really difficult for you as well, especially trying to stay strong for your mother.
It was. I don't think that I actually cried until 3 weeks after he passed.
So 3 weeks after he passed, you began processing what happened. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I cried all the time. I would be okay 1 minute and then I would randomly start crying again so hard that it was hard to breathe. Um, I I tried to push the feelings down because at the time my daughter was only 4 months old and I had to take care of her as well. Um, that's really when the nightmares started.
Okay. Can you tell me more about these nightmares? Like, how often do they occur for you?
The first one was like a few weeks after he passed. I would keep having these dreams where I'm sleeping and I hear knocking on the door. And the knocking was the police coming to tell us what happened. Or I would have dreams of finding him overdosed and or finding him high somewhere in the street.
That must be really difficult for you. It kind of sounds like you keep reliving that day.
Yeah, and sometimes randomly in the middle of the day, if the phone rings, I have this fear that someone else has passed. And even when I realize that everything's okay, I still feel these rush of emotions like that just make me anxious and sad. It's like everything scares me. Sometimes if my husband wakes up in the middle of the night, I'm jumping up asking him if he is okay because I always feel like something is wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like you're experiencing a little heightened reactions. Would that sound right to you?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm feeling. I don't ever really feel calm. I'm always on edge or ready to jump out of my seat. My husband laughs at me because I'm so jumpy.
That is completely normal after experiencing a traumatic event as you did. On a scale 1 to 10, how would you say that these nightmares and feelings during the day are affecting your daily life?
Um, right now I would say an 8, and that's when I realized that I needed someone to talk to. Sometimes it feels like I'm going to explode with sadness or fear, and it almost makes me feel like I need to put myself and my family in a bubble because I'm also thinking that something is going to go wrong.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm getting everything. Since your brother passed away, you have experienced nightmares and heightened feelings throughout the day that are causing a bit of anxiety. It sounds like certain things possibly trigger you into thinking something is going wrong or someone is hurt. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Okay. And you said it's about an 8 on the scale of how much these symptoms are really taking over your life. I think it's pretty high. And from what I gathered, it sounds to me like you're experiencing a little PTSD. Would you agree with this?
It's really difficult for me to say that I'm experiencing PTSD. I don't want there to be anything wrong with me. My family has already been through enough without mental health concerns.
Yeah, and I totally get that. And, just so you know, PTSD doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. We just want to find healthy ways to cope with the events that we have experienced so we can live a full life. We can work together to process what has happened and to learn to use coping skills to reduce the symptoms. Does it sound like something you're interested in?
Yeah, we can try.
Okay. So thank you for meeting with me today. And the next time we meet, we'll begin processing everything and learning the coping skills.
Okay, thank you.